You guys, I was going to do a get ready, unready with me video. And I was removing my makeup and everything. And I was chatting with you about what happened today. And then I realized I wasn't filming. So here I was, like, I was pouring my heart out. I was telling you my life story that concerned the situation today, and here we are having to refilm because I realized we weren't filming. Yay! We were not filming, so that thumbnail picture is a dud, sadly. So you didn't get to see the magic of this working, my magic formula that I use as a pre-wash to get the excess off, so you missed all of that. So anyway, let me take a swig of some tea, wet out my throat, liquidate I should mean, and tell you again. So, long time ago, I was in a relationship. It was my first ever relationship. I was very young, like 19, early 20s, young. And I will admit, I like older men. And the guy that I was with was 40. Yes, that sounds horrible. I agree with you guys now. It sounds very horrible. But, very sweet. He was sweet as a pea. At least I thought. So, naming no names. So it doesn't pinpoint. So anyone who's watching that's a mutual friend or anything cannot pinpoint to where it is, to where it goes. So, anyway, going into the story, I, was dating this guy for a good while, a very long while. Our first date was at the Seattle Aquarium, and it was a really fun date. The first thing you see when you enter the Seattle Aquarium is a giant tank of fish. And there was this kind of a pinkish gray fish in there that had one missing eye. And we gave him a name. He may have already had a name, but we gave him a new name anyway. We called him the Godfather fish. Because this fish looked very rugged. He looked like a badass. And fish that were swimming near him would swim immediately away when he swam by. So he was like literally boss fish. So we gave him the Godfather fish because he looked like a badass fish you did not want to cross in the ocean, or the aquarium tank, as I should say. So yeah, pretty badass fish. So, and then we had lunch at Taco Del Mar, and then things just got very, very serious from there. He was taking school courses on the weekends, and his scheduling started changing, so we didn't get to see each other much, except on Saturday mornings, very early. So I would get up 3 hours before my shift, and have coffee with him before he went out, because I would not see him until maybe around dinner time where we were staying. But whenever he did have free time, we didn't go to big fancy places because he was saving money. So we always went to free places like this whenever the tickets were available, whenever they were donating free tickets to the zoo, free tickets to the aquarium, free tickets to museums. If ever he got a hold of those tickets, I would be the person he invited. And so yeah, it was great. But in comes Skank, aka WV. Those are his initials, WV. I will not reveal the full name, but his other nickname is Skank. So from now on, he is known as Skank. So Skank is this tall, scrawny, bone-thin thing. If you ever wanted to know what a human version of Goofy looked like, not the new version of Goofy, but the classic Goofy, the original animation design of Goofy with a huge Adam's apple, that was him. Looked exactly, except he had what you would call the 90s twink porn star haircut. So yeah, he had that haircut at the time. And I got a vibe from him that I didn't really like. But, when you're living in transitional housing, you have to be friendly. You have to coexist with people. But I had a vibe for him. He'd approach me one day, and I'm innocent at the time, very innocent, and this is my first ever relationship. So, if I knew then what I know now, I would not have given him these questions, because these were answers that helped him basically sabotage my relationship. So I told him, yeah, me and so we're dating. We've been dating for this amount of years. It got to the point where it's gotten serious, and the reason why I say serious is because he said some of the savings that he's saving up for is for a house that's in another state, and he visualized we were going to live together in that house. This was something he said. This was not something I suggested. This just came out of the blue, and when I heard that, I was like, this guy is genuine. This guy is real, because literally he sees a future. I saw a future too. I saw a future, but I didn't see, I wasn't seeing that deep yet. But, yeah. So, I told him all about that when, how, it was very important when we met up on Saturdays, because, he'd be busy on the weekdays, and we only had Saturday. He sabotaged the Saturday. He would go to places where he knew we would meet up when my ex was available. Completely ignore me, converse with him. Pretty soon, they were getting close. But I trusted my ex, and my ex told me to trust him. So even though I saw the red flags, and I wanted to say something, I trusted my ex. It got to the point where this person would eavesdrop on my conversations, feed off my fears, go to my ex, tell him, and my ex would confront me about it. So long story short, he sabotaged the relationship. He broke up with me. But then it gets better, you guys. It gets better. Very next day after the breakup, this SOB skank comes up to me during my volunteer shift and asks me if me and my ex have broken up yet. This was planned. At first I thought, okay, maybe he convinced him, you need to break up with this person because yada yada this, yada yada that. No. There was more, and I found out how much more when a good friend of mine said, I was going to tell you, I wish they had told me, I was going to tell you, but I wasn't sure how to approach you about it, and I wish they had, even if they didn't know. But since you guys have broken up, I think it might be more easier for you. I was doing my shift, and you know how there's not supposed to be two people in the workroom? The workroom, by the way, is an exercise room. It's very small, so it's like one person accessible only. Two people, it would have been hard for people to work out. One of the things was to inspect to make sure if somebody was rented out the workroom, was using the workroom. So they just, they would lean in to make sure that there was activity in there. They didn't go in. But he said that when he went in there, it sounded like porn was going on in there. Two people were having sex, two men. And it sounded like, guess who? And later on, when he did his second round, they were still in there, and he double-checked to see who it was that was supposed to have the workroom. It was my ex. And then when he did his double round, he saw the two of them come out. So he was cheating on me. So they began their relationship. And he decided he was going to try to be open with me. And I said, you know this guy's going to not be, you know this guy's using you, right? I'm not trying to be a jealous ex. I'm just saying, this person, right when you guys were, right when we broke up, he came up to me and he's like, yada yada. I'm trying to basically express, I saw the warning signs. I'm literally trying to tell this guy, this, whatever, I don't know what I was doing, but I was literally telling him this guy was bad news because he literally lied to get into the relationship. But he's like, well, now that we're not together, what's the big deal? And it gets better, you guys. So the money that he was saving, he was spending it on movies and some really nice places, like non-free, like over 20, like not even over 20. Like, we're talking about stuff that was probably like $35 for per person meal places. And they were also more affectionate. In front of me, by the way. So, this person also worked with me in a, what is it called? I forget the volunteer position, but he worked with me in that position. He was acting all friendly and was talking about the fun things that him and my ex were going to be doing. So I outed his ass. I embarrassed the shit out of him. I called him out for what he was, a homewrecker. He changed positions. He changed time positions. And I made sure that the rest of his stay at that transitional housing was hell. Well, anyway, it gets better. He does what I predicted. He basically scammed my ex. And I know this because there was people who knew the whole thing. He scammed him. It's only in it for the experiment, in his own words. And the money, of course. Homewrecker, gold digging hoe. So, they were no longer together. My ex had his own problems, and let's just say he went downhill after that. But we're not going to go into that because that's a whole other story and a whole other thing. But long story short, both of them were in the wrong. But we're focusing on Skank because we were running an errand today, and I figured, well, we're near a food bank, so why don't we go? Guess who was there? Skank! Now has a beard, shaved head, skinnier than ever, looks more like Goofy, especially now with a shaved head. And literally, I was just, not paying attention, but it was hard not to pay attention because you had some scrawny-ass thing staring at you. Whispering shit to this person that I guess is a new victim. So, my good friend, who drove me there was in the car, and I texted them saying, hey, guess who's here? They know the story. They came in to make sure I was okay and to make sure that the Skank didn't do anything because I'm going to be honest, there was a time where there was a confrontation at a bus stop. Skank was trying to make me feel bad even though it had been a good few years since the breakup. They were trying to basically rub it in once again, trying to reopen old wounds. Now that just gives you an idea of what an a-hole they are. By the way, Skank is also on Instagram. I'm not going to give their name, but you're going to love this. They're some sort of advice helper for men 38 and older, aka their way of picking up men by being some sort of advisor for older men. I wonder what they mean by advice. So, we're not going to go into that anyway. But anyway, I saw him, he saw me, and let's just say the feeling of disgust was mutual. He was disgusted because I outed him in public years ago, and he was kind of intimidated by me, of course, because, I'm a very tall, burly person, so you never know. I guess he assumed that I would attack him or something, but I'm not, I'm not that type of person unless you really provoke me or hit me first. And I was equally disgusted because it's like, here is this person that sabotaged a relationship and laughed about it, and then a couple of years later tried to reopen wounds. So yeah, I definitely have the right to still be disgusted with this person, because this person obviously has no life. Why would you try to open old wounds that you stole somebody's man? And you're playing victim. You're not the victim. So anyway, that was my day, and I wish this video would have been better, because like I said, the whole magic of using this and my special clean wash mixture to get, the excess stuff off, looked pretty good. You should have seen my face when I was removing my makeup. It was like all gray, and I was I was sidetracked because I looked like a gravestone. But anyway, that is my rant of the evening. I think I shall call it the cap off nightcap video. So please like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.